The thing say live? Does
Yes.
it say live?
Yes.
Well, whenever the light lights up that says we're live, that's when I'm on. Everybody knows that I may not have as many positions as CC has stole from me, but what I do have is the first position. I get to say this, Gina Lee, Rosanna, Dana, Anna. We are live.
Live.
Good morning out there, podcast land. Good morning, CC.
Good morning.
Good morning, Rosanna, Dana, Anna.
Good morning, Party Marty.
In a minute, we'll be saying good morning to Dr. Ted. You know what I mean? I think Dr. Ted makes his grand entrance. You feeling me? Hey, y'all, on a serious note, um, this podcast today from me is dedicated to Nene Jones, Myra, the Colston family, anybody and everybody that's affiliated with Riggs Avenue for Life, Riggs and Bentlow, where we come from, and just our neighborhood, the 21216 neighborhood, which Gina Lee grew up as part of. We lost a really good one. You know, God knows what He's doing. He takes what He needs. I want you to look at me today. I got both my earrings in. I got a couple of my good studs in. Thank you, thank you. I got a couple of my good studs in my good earrings. You know what I mean? I'm wearing my good watch. I got some jewelry on my hand because I'm showing a tribute. Y'all know I'm a cry. That's what I do. I'm showing a tribute to a classy individual. Classy. Nene is one of those dressers. Bright red lipstick, always on fleek. So funny because her daughter looks at my goddaughter Jamie, looks and dresses, acts just like her. I saw her at the funeral yesterday. She had on bright red lipstick. These are attractive people. And I'm going to say this to you before we go any further. It's a big difference in being pretty, being beautiful, being attractive, and being ugly. Once again, let me give it to you like Party Marty would. It's a big difference in being pretty, attractive, beautiful, and ugly. Now, facial, Nene was one of the more attractive or most attractive persons out of our neighborhood. I'm not going to take it away from ladies because we happen to be blessed with a whole bunch of physically attractive women in our 21216 district. And if you're from there, you know it. And if you ain't from there, you know it because you came over there to see them or meet them or get them. But Nene was beautiful inside and out. Never disrespectful. Don't remember her being vulgar, bunch of cursing. She could fight though. She was a coaster. You know what I mean? And Will Cole, shout out to Will Cole, Cynthia, and all the rest of them, Russell, just the family. But she was always a beautiful individual, classy. Do yourself a favor, all you people, the young ladies that God has given you a platform or a chance that's very physically attracted because of your mother, your father, your grandmother genes. Don't be ugly on the inside. Don't be ugly on the inside because a lot of y'all, no matter how you look, to me, you're ugly. Always in a bad mood, always got your mouth poked up, never friendly a word, nothing good to say about anybody and everybody. I'll get back to this. This show I do as a tribute to Myra Jones, Nene, to the family, Jamie, Donna, Cynthia, Russell, Kenny, the uncles, Miss Colson, Bobo, the dad, anybody and everybody has something to do with that family. They had a nice homegoing service for yesterday. Got to see a lot of them. Quentin Whale, the Q, Ronald Terry. You know, got to see a bunch of them. Don and them was there. Cynthia was there. You know, they'd be there because they're the family. Got to cry. Got to see Cavadas. Got to, you know, see Lynn. Got to see some people from the old neighborhood as we talked about memories. But y'all do yourself a favor. Real talk. I say this in open honesty. Tell somebody you love them while they're here. Rhonda Samuels told us about Mr. John when we had his epitaph. She said, give somebody their flowers while they're here. Give somebody their flowers while they're here. Before we start our show, I need everybody to do one small thing for me. This is in tribute of Nene. Just want you to stop just for a second. I want you to take time out to play this game with me. Turn to your left. Tell somebody you love them. Now turn to your right. Tell somebody you love them. Don't always wait till you at the funeral. Don't always wait till they gave you a couple of dollars or you at the show. Take time to tell somebody you love them now. Give them flowers while they can smell it. Hey, y'all. Rest in peace, Nene. Hey, y'all. Here we go. You know who we are. We are Simply Us. That's the name of our podcast. We talk about different topics. Gina Lee is our historian. CC is our engineer, director, producer. We are a powerful group. Dr. Sutton will be joining in a minute. Gina, what you say, Dr. Sutton will be joining if I sent them the right link, right? CC sends the link out. I'm famous for sending people the wrong link. Now they'd have followed me. No longer the link center. I lost a job already. But anyway, I lost a job. I got Gina in cyberspace. CC sent her the link. No, I resent it, the wrong one. But I'm taking a break. God ain't finished with me yet. Y'all, we talk about a few topics, then we move on, and everybody gets a chance to chime in. We always start our shows off with a moment of silence. So, moment of silence starting, please. No, I did that wrong. Got me a little confused. Prayer starting, and then moment of silence. Father God, thank you for the wonderful things that's going on in all our lives. Father God, you can hear the way I started with the moment of silence that I'm still a little broke up about passing my friend. I know that you always decide. God doesn't make any mistakes, so you decided that you want a Nene now. A lot of us, when we lose our loved ones, we never understand, especially we never understand the timing. The timing is never right. The timing is never right. But Nene is right now, resting in peace. Father God, please bless, keep hold to the 21216 zip code family for losing one of their members. Father God, please take hold to the Coaston family. Father God, please keep everybody safe as we can. Make your decision. Father God, we always pray for the people over there fighting those God-forsaken wars so we can do podcasts, watch the Ravens, eat bonbons. Father God, please put your hand on us as we flare up again with this pandemic, the families who's lost loved ones, to everybody out there in earshot of me. Father God, we now move on to what we call our moment of silence. My moment of silence starts today with Nene. Moment of silence, please. Amen.
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 Good morning, Doc.
Good morning. Good morning.
I like
Good
Doc.
morning.
Hey, I like Doc makes that entrance. You know what I mean? You know what? When I become a doctor, I'm gonna do the same thing. That's how I'm gonna do, Doc. Hey, y'all. Anyway, moving right along. Here's what we do. We see people are popping in. I only had to know who that is. Brenda. Hey, BB. As usual. Little waters in my eyes. Let me get myself half right. I won't be right. Doc, I was telling them we lost an awesome individual out of our neighborhood, and that's what we're doing now. This podcast simply dedicated it to Nene, a classy lady who would love this. Knowledge is everything to her. She's like one of the persons in the neighborhood, the person who you could go to and talk about stuff. She was like a big sister to a bunch of us. But you know, we was young. She was our girlfriend to us. You know what I mean? When you're young, you know you got a teacher that you got a crush on. CC, Doc, and Gina.
Yeah.
Miss Johnson. I don't know if you remember Miss Johnson, the second grade teacher, Gina, at 144. She was beautiful. She used to talk to you. You know what I mean? Whenever she talked to you, she would hold your hand, Doc. All kind of stuff was going through my mind while she was talking to me, holding my hand. I was all over the place. You get what I'm saying?
Every boy loves her.
Yeah, but she made you want to do well. So
Yes, she
anyway,
did.
Yeah, without further ado, let's get into our show. If y'all don't notice today, I got my little gear on. I got my studs and all my ears, my diamond collection. You feeling me? I got one of my good watches on. I'm pushing a few of my rings on my hand because Nene's a dresser. Nene would always have her stuff on fleet. Do you hear me? We go down a bowling alley, she might be in a mink. You get what I'm saying? Well, that's how some of them roll. You feeling me, right or wrong? That's how some of them roll. Some people stay on fleet. Gina, I want you to know. I laugh at this. I always tell this story, and people were saying we said the other day, Doc, when we was talking about Cece has this thing that, and she always says it. It may not be popular, but Cece has boys, and she always tells them. First of all, we always make sure let them know men ain't supposed to be hitting on women. Let's make sure we always understand that men ain't supposed to be hitting on women. My wife always says, I tell the man not to hit a woman, but I tell a woman not to be hitting on my sons. And when they do, they knew that they was a woman when they hit them.
Right.
Doc said it best. Doc said, you know what I mean? I tell you to grab their hands, back up, move away, do whatever you can, but I ain't tell you get hit in the head with a frying pan just because she's female or something like that. You know what I mean? I tell this story. Gina Lee, real talk. Gina Lee now is a classy, educated, retired state worker, a wonderful individual. But Gina Lee, I come up from Gina Lee back as a teenager. Gina Lee can fight. Doc, when I say fight with us, you know, it was a time when, you know, now it's more or less a lot of females start a bunch of confusion and then they say, I'm going home and get my brother. I'm going to go home and get this. Gina, it wasn't like that with us. No. When we came on, the boys fought the girls. Girls played baseball, fight. They wrestled like other. Gina swung at you. And then later on, if a guy want to jump in to help you out, that's one thing. But Gina ain't going home to get no guy to fight. If you spend that time trying to block Gina, block Toot, block Crystal, you know, I mean, Cece, Lawan, if you're going to keep on thinking, I can just back up and say, with Doc, kumbaya, and block him and stuff like that, you're going to have a black eye because Gina going to whip that ass. Gonna whip that ass. So I just want to let you know that everybody is known for different things. We knew Gina Lee as Gina Lee could fight. Yeah, real talk. She was a swimmer. She was a athlete. She was a lifeguard at a young age. You know what I mean? She was aggressive, physical. Nene was pretty. Everybody don't know Nene could fight, but Nene was pretty. She always dressed up. She was a class act. She's gone now. Everybody, please pray for that family to get through this because I seen a bunch of them thinking they was handling it and they don't know it hasn't really hit them yet. Rest in peace, Nene. Move along. All right, y'all. Doc, y'all know we got a few topics today as usual, as we always do. I'm going to actually today start the podcast with myself. Doc, you're going to be jealous of this. You're going to be jealous of this, Doc. You know, if y'all don't know, Gina's our historian. She'll do all this leg work. You're going to see her lift up books and show you pictures of stuff. You're going to see her looking at the paper the whole time and lifting it up and doing all this kind of stuff like that. Cece stays. She gets up to watch Good Morning America and this and that to watch all these different topics and stuff that way. Good morning, Ollie. It's my god sister there. Listen, she watches all these shows. She does this leg work so she can talk about me and Doc getting there act like we ain't studied nothing. We ain't looked at nothing. We ain't opened an article. We're avid speakers. So we get in where we fit in. I don't care. Cece always tease me. What's my topic? She said, whatever somebody else talking about. And that's what we do, right, Doc? Whatever somebody else talking about, we get in and we put ourselves in there because that's what we do. We're speakers, so we move in. But today I want to talk about something I saw while my wife was doing her research on, I think, Good Morning America or something. And it's John Carlos. John Carlos was the brother that y'all saw that had the fist up at the Olympics. Gina Lee gave us that information back in her that's a nice thing that you do when you do that, Doc. I'm incorporate that. That's real humbling. Gina Lee gave us some history into that. You know how the Caucasian guy that was there, they said, you know, they didn't have another set of gloves. The Caucasian guy, I understand, was the one that told them. Even Gina or Doc, one of them said, but that was the one that told us. Well, y'all split the gloves. One of y'all take a glove, one of y'all take the other. I just now noticed this morning when I was looking at it that one of them had a right hand glove, one of them had the left. One of them raised their right hand, one of them raised their left hand because that was the gloves that they had. And if you learned that, you got it from Simply Us. I learned that. Well, Mr. Carlos, it says, John Carlos said he was not for the movement, he was for the moment. I always thought that when he did that, he was putting his fist up as in Black Power. But he said, no, he wasn't. He wasn't putting his fist up in Black Power. He put his fist up as something that Dr. Ted would say to you that he would know, that a person like me didn't really notice, but it's out there now. I want y'all to look at this. It's a hand. It's 5 fingers right here. It's 5 fingers. When you see Doc and them do this, they're not running around saying Black Power. They're saying unity. I didn't know this. Doc, I learned this today listening to that. Gina said it back in the day when she was talking about the Olympics and what these guys did. What he was saying, he said, we're weak when we're out here. We're 5 individuals. We're weak. When you put this fist together right there, you just now put together unity, but you put together strength. Now, I learned that today. I learned that. I wouldn't have known that if I wasn't watching the podcast. I wouldn't have been thinking about it because it wasn't important to me. It wasn't important to me. They talked together. It wasn't about Black Power. It was about unity. It's not always everything in life, y'all. Everything. You ever talk to people when they start talking panel? You ever realize that they turn the conversation or the topic to them? You ever see how everybody think that every topic is about them? It ain't about you. I'm just on a topic. I'm just on a topic. When I talked about Nene, that was about Nene. You know? Yes, Gina. There you go, Gina. Gina finds these things and has these things in her archive because she's our historian. Great job, Gina. Hands up, hands up. Hands up being right there with that picture ready. Hands up, Gina, being right there. Doc told us, you show me 7 of your best friends and I'll show you your future. And this is 3 of mine. So I know I'm endlessly going, I'm going somewhere. But he put it up as a show of unity. Now, we right now, we talk about Freddie Gray. We talk about Cece. Yeah, last topic talked about the gentleman that was choked to death. What was his name?
Eric Garner.
Mr. Garner. All right. You know, we talk about Mr. Floyd. You know, we talk about all these persons that's lost their lives in the protest of getting the message across for Black Lives Matter. We running around with t-shirts on, we marching, we doing all these things. But back in the day, Dr. Sutton and them have been telling y'all about this. They've been telling y'all about this. They've been telling y'all about this. When you seen Kaepernick kneel, he was been telling you about this. When Mr. Lucas and them put their fists up, they've been telling you about this. Later on, if you come to my house, you'll see a tribute to who are you going to do, Gina, at the cookout?
Angela Davis.
Angela Davis. They've been telling you about this. Muhammad Ali, they've been telling you about this. Malcolm X, they've been telling you about this. We've been dealing with this. Colin Kaepernick didn't do nothing but take a knee. He took a knee. That's all he did. He took a knee, and he was wrong. They put him out of this. You couldn't get a job anymore. It just went on and went on. But y'all, the movement started a long time ago. A long time ago. We just wasn't listening. We just wasn't listening. We just wasn't listening. Don't wait till a person dies to tell them every good thing that I love them. Don't wait till the movement, everybody gets choked to death, shot, knee on your neck, strangled, set a fire. Don't do this. Be part of this from the start. Get in on the ground floor. Get in where you fit in. Somewhere along the line, y'all, somewhere along the line, we need to be more adept at being part of the solution earlier in the problem. Early in the problem. Cece is going to talk a little later on, like she always does. She talks about the pandemic and the virus and getting shots and stuff. She spoke on that with me all day, and I listened to it. And was I abreast of paying attention? No, because it wasn't.
Well, gee, thanks.
Yeah, but you know why? Back to what I'm saying. You want to know why? Because it didn't immediately affect me. One of my many shortcomings. That's what we do, y'all, especially as Black people. If it ain't immediately affecting us, if I think I got the shot, that's what my great nephew Frank always said. When they first started this shot, he was a panel member. He still is, but they're doing something. But that's what he said. He said, well, I'm gonna tell you, the only problem I got with the vaccine is when people get it, they think they bulletproof. That was the problem. He said, when people get the vaccine, they think they bulletproof. They start, not caring about what they do. Gina tells you just wear the damn mask. You know what I mean? So when my wife was telling me about it, it was a big thing to her because she's an avid reader. But because it didn't affect me immediately, it didn't matter. But that's my shortcoming. Once again, I own up to it. That's my shortcoming. Sometimes y'all need to own up to yours too. If it doesn't immediately affect you, you don't care. But when all of a sudden it's your turn in the barrel, you care. We have to be more proactive than reactive. It's simple as that. It's simple as that. All right. Hey, Mike, what's up? Hey, Gina, look over in the corner. There go Big Mike, the swimmer. Blue, what's up, my man?
Mike
Blue.
Mike
Ravens fan. Yeah, Mike and I and Gina Mike and Gina and them were lifeguards at Druid Hill Park. We spent a lot of time together there. Thank you for chiming in, Mike. Mike's he lives in Atlanta, I believe, or something there. But Mike is big to do with helping people. You may see sometime on Facebook or something like that. Mike is that guy that you've seen run around in Walmarts and don't tell anybody what's going on, but be in line and tell the lady the next 10 people that get in this line to pay for Christmas. He did one time. He said the next 10 people to get in line with their layaway to pay their layaway, don't say nothing, just tell them it's been paid. And that's all. Mike got in line at the Walmarts and told the lady don't say anything. But the next 10 people that's getting this line to pick up their layaway for Christmas, it's been paid. And he just paid.
Man.
That's what he does. He feeds the homeless. He owns a lot of those. He owns some Chipotle's. He owns some, Burger Five Guys. He owns some stores, and he's done some things with his money. He's a good man. And he's also my friend. Cynthia Colson, thank you for joining in. Cynthia's Nene's sister. Cynthia's a big-time volunteer, saves the world, goes down there and feed everybody. But Cynthia, this show, as I'm saying, is dedicated to myself, is dedicating the show to your sister, to Nene. Rest in peace. Prayers out to you and the family, to everybody involved. Wilco, her brother, which is Nene's brother and Cynthia's brother, who I grew up as my best friend. And later on, Nene's partner in life, Cooper, is my best friend. That's my kids' godfathers. I'm the godfather of their kids. Y'all see me stumbling along, but I'll put it out to the floor after I do this. Everybody that's chiming in and getting on, we appreciate all you're doing. The topic today that I'm giving up is being more proactive than reactive. As I said, don't tell everybody you love them while they're laying up in the front of the church. Tell them you love them when you can. Tell them you love them when you can. Don't give everybody their flowers at the funeral. My wife loves flowers. There's flowers on our table right there. Shout out to my son Maurice Everese is there. Cece, he's a good flower giver, isn't he?
Yes, he is. Give me flowers every time he come to visit.
Every event, everything that he visits, he brings my wife flowers. You know what I mean? In lieu of a big time gift. You know what I mean? He brings them flowers. She love her more than the diamonds that I may give her. But as I say, today you see, I have on my good jewelry. I have on my watches and rings. I got my ears loaded with my diamond studs. I'm classy today in tribute to Nene. Nene's a classy woman. You see Nene in bright red lipstick and a fur anytime. I seen her one time with a mink on. It was hot as I don't know what. I said, Nene, why you know it's hot out there? Why you got your mink on? You know what she said, Doc, Gina, and Cece? She said, I'm going to the dance at Martin's West. This was years ago when we wasn't running to Martin's West like now. You might just have a party there. You went to Martin's West, it was something big to do. She said, I'm going to Martin's West. And when you go to Martin's West, you wear your mink. Classy lady, Nene. Hey, y'all, I used up some time. That was my thought. I just wanted everybody to know that I started with that. And I felt something about seeing the people from 21216 out there. I felt something about seeing the Colson family grieving. I felt something about all of us where we are at this moment right now. So when we think back about the Black Lives Matters moment, the Black Lives Matters movement, the Black Lives Matter history, I just want to make sure that y'all know, do not see Black Lives Matter movement as the poor persons that have lost their life now, as Mr. Floyd. Do not see that Black Lives Matter started with Freddie Gray. Do not see that we tearing up the town and looting and stuff like that is something that started Black Lives Matter. If you don't think so, you look back to Mr. John Carlos when he gave up his future by putting his hand up in the air. We thought that he was saying Black Power. Watch me. He was not. He was showing unity, a fist. Out here, we're nothing. And here, we're powerful. Dr. Ted does it all the time. You always see him. I always thought that just meant Black Power because I never knew. You knew what you were doing. Mm-hmm. You were world travel. You knew what you was doing. You knew what the fist meant. Y'all, today, if you didn't learn nothing else from Party, learn why the fist is out. The fist does not necessarily mean Black Power. The fist means unity. Get together and do something. Shout out to Mr. Kaepernick. Shout out to Muhammad Ali. Shout out to Dr. Sutton. Shout out to Malcolm X. Shout out to the persons before. Shout out to Jim Brown. Shout out to people going all over the world, putting themselves out there to try to teach us something that we should have listened to a long time ago. But no, we had to wait around till we was choked, beaten, strangled, stabbed, feet on our neck to get the movement going. Shame on us. All right, y'all. Thank you very much. Good morning, Miss Cunningham. How are you? All right, y'all. Let's move right along. I'm going to go off of my part. I'm going to do my thing. If y'all don't know, you just coming in. I got this smooth thing that I do. What's it called, Gina, Doc, and Cece?
The segue in.
Segue in. Segue in.
Everybody know about me and my segue in, Jack. That's what's up, man. Hey, listen. You know they got all the Richard Dawson used to in his show he would kiss everybody. You know what I mean? You got your boy Steve Harvey said, "I'm your man, Steve Harvey." Everybody got their little move. Art Linkletter, Gina, you remember that? He used to say, "Kids say the darndest things." Everybody has their line and their move with their little show, but I have mine that nobody else has, y'all. That's called the segue in. I want y'all to watch this smooth little thing as I do it. Here's how I do it. I go. Good morning, Gina Lee. What's your topic today? Let's talk.
Well, good morning. And thank you for letting me report for Simply Us this morning.
There we go.
And I've got a new topic for you today. But before I get to my topic, I want to piggyback off of Party Marty's comment. And
Okay.
I just want to say that I read that they were now going to play the Black National Anthem at all sporting events at the first game of the season. And I guess that's supposed to appease us for not letting Colin Kaepernick play. You know, I think it's a slap in his face. And I think it's awful, you know, that they want to put this song up, but yet you won't give this man his job back. I just wanted to throw that up there. You know, the athletes that raised their fists, they raised their fists. And when they were told they could not participate anymore in the Olympics, there was another gentleman who also participated, and they told him to go ahead, and he won. You know, so it's not that, you know, like you say, it's not about an individual. This is a collective movement that we all need to participate in. Okay, getting off my
Gina, hold 1 second. Let me give me. I didn't think about that. I'm a little emotional. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Big Cuz Helen. Good morning, Cynthia, Karen. I missed my part again. I put it out there, and then our format is we let the panel comment. I apologize. I got a little off. Doc, any comments on what I said?
Oh no, I mean I think that it was very significant because and I think that I agree with Ms. Gina. She's you know, right on point with what she's talking about. It's like a slap in the face because they don't understand that it's having that level of a platform of so many millions of people to be able to watch, and a person being able to just be able to protest, you know, in their way, in a justful way. Now they have a problem when people burn stuff and break stuff and break into stores and all. I get that part. I understand that, you know, but when you are even being criticized because you take a knee or because you take a seat or because you put your fist up, or like the lady that threw the hammer throw and she just turned away from the flag. Now they have put out something where they're saying that they are going to punitively go against anyone that protests during the games. They just did put the mandate out, and so they're trying to figure out. They said they're going to do it a case by case situation, and people don't understand that, you know, if we cannot protest civil and justly, the only thing it does leave people is to do it unjustly or to go against the rules. And people have to understand that you don't ask for permission how to protest.
Exactly.
I'm not going to put a protest and then tell City Hall that, okay, then what time y'all want me to come? Well, we want to know if you can come at 5 in the morning because ain't nobody gonna be there. And we want y'all to be gone at 6, and we want y'all to be like real low when you do it, and don't bring any mics, and we don't want more than 20 people. You're not gonna tell me how to protest.
No,
because that's part of the protest, is that me showing, you know, saying that we are coming together and the people's voice. All of these other people, they work for us, the police department, the judges, the state's attorney, you know, saying, you know, all of these people, these people that we have voted into place, they work for us. And when we are unhappy about things, we have to protest it, you know, I'm saying, and voice our opinions in different ways. And that's really what gets the attention. So she's right on point with that. I just think that they are really doing something that is unfortunate, is to now put out that anybody that protests from this point on is going to be penalized in some kind of way. And I think that they're going a little bit too far, you know, with this. You know what I'm saying? Nobody was up there burning the flag. Nobody put the finger up. Nobody, you know, got up there and just said F America or F anybody, you know what I'm saying? But they still want you to just act like we want you to go as good, patriotic people, you know what I'm saying, representing a country that just loves our people. And, you know, and I think that's first of all, it's not real. It's not real. Just like all of those brothers that came back from Vietnam and came back from different wars, and they still couldn't sit down go in different stores and sit down at a table and be treated right.
Tell them, Doc. Yeah, tell them, Doc. Yeah. Hey, good morning, Bunny. Good morning, Helen, Big Cuz from North Carolina, Cynthia. Good morning, Natty. Good morning, Karen. Good morning, Sheila. Cece, comment?
I couldn't agree more with Doc and Gina, and that, you know, sometimes they just make these noble gestures, as we'll call them, just to try to placate us, you know, just like Eric Garner's children's mother said that, you know, we got a lot of streets named after us, but nothing's changed, you know, and we have to learn to be the change that we want to see. And we can't allow anybody to dictate how we do that, you know. Excuse me. I learned that 3 weeks ago, the Olympic Committee, they eased Rule 50 of the Olympic Charter, which is a long time ban on protest of any kind. Now they can make protests during pregame intros and press conferences. But again, just like Doc said, that's just, you know, a Band-Aid on a bullet wound, because they want to tell us when we can do it, how we can do it. And the whole point of protesting is the individuality in the individual making their statement the way that they want to make their statement. So to say it's okay before, but you can't do it on the podium, you know, that's not change. You know, that's just pacifying us.
That's exactly it. If you just joining in, y'all, this is a panel from Simply Us. We were just talking about how long it took us to really pay attention to the movement, the Black Lives Matter movement, and how we keep on thinking that, and that's just my opinion, we're opinionated panel, is my opinion that everybody thinks that Black Lives Matter started with Freddie Gray. It started with George Floyd. It started with Mr. Garner. You know, it didn't. You know, Black Lives Matter started way back in the day when Mr. Carlos put his fists up for unity. Once again, the hand, we always think that this means Black power. It doesn't necessarily mean that. It meant unity. Doc has been doing this. Every time you see Doc, he always doing this. But Doc is a motivational speaker. He has a PhD. He's a world travel speaker. And sometimes we don't know. Sometimes information is power. So I'm giving y'all some information that I found out today. I always just thought that meant Black power. It does not. It means unity. It means unity. That's all it is. You feel me? So to everybody to think that the movement started right now, it did not. It did not. Back in the day, still hats off to Muhammad Ali. Hats off to Malcolm X. Hats off to John Carlos. You know what I mean? Hats off to the doctor who goes around the world doing his thing. Hats off to Malcolm X. Like Dr. say, they tell you the reason why you have Rat Brown, the reason why you have Malcolm X is they tell you can choose. You can be Dr. Martin Luther King, the pacifist, you know what I mean? Or if that don't work for me, I likes them guns. You decide which one of us you want to hear speak. So that's what's up. Gina, thank you for letting me piggyback back in the air. Gina, back to your topic.
Well, again, good morning, everyone. Regina Lee reporting for Simply Us. My topic today is, and you may have heard it in the news, Ohio's only Black congresswoman was arrested while standing up for voting rights. Mm-hmm. Her name is Joyce Beatty. And first of all, I say, you know, show you how strong.
Gina, what was her name?
Joyce Beatty. Am I pronouncing it right?
Cece, what's your maiden name?
Beatty.
Just like that, the same way, right?
Spelled exactly the same.
So it might be maybe y'all related. So
Yeah,
we need
go
to
ahead,
look.
Jenny.
We need to look that up. So
Yeah.
she and a group of other Black women went to Washington to protest the voting rights issue. You know, of course, they say that, you know, we can't come to the polls during certain times. They ain't going to give you any water. They're going to take away some of the boxes where people can vote, you know, things like that. So now we have to protest, just like you said. So they went to the Senate and they were, if you can see these pictures, they were arm in arm, you know, just like back in the day with Martin Luther King and the other protests that we've had, you know, they went in singing songs arm in arm and they were arrested. And Miss Beatty said, you know, it's ironic that we could immediately, and she said, I knew that it was illegal to protest inside of the building. She said, I knew that. But it's ironic that we were immediately arrested, and it was she and 9 others. But January 6th, they could come right in the Capitol building and nobody was arrested. Interesting.
Nobody.
Imagine that.
The Capitol.
Huh?
Stormed the Capitol. That's what they said. He stormed.
Right.
They were. Everybody know they were allowed in there.
Right.
You have to be the dumbest person in the world if you think that wasn't an inside job.
So, to tell you, you know, for her to even give this whole movement her full attention, you know it means something, because she lost her husband like 30 days ago. You know, Otto Beatty, and he was very, very prominent in Ohio's political system. He was on the House of Representatives, as delegate. He belonged to every Black civic organization in that state. He also fought with other organizations around the country. He was an attorney. He defended many people who had been accused of racial crimes and won. You know, so she was kind of, you know, going out here without her backbone, should I say. And there was another lady who was also arrested. Her name is Melanie Campbell, and she is the head of the Black Women's Roundtable. And her organization is the one that bailed all 10 of them out.
Really?
So, yeah. They were like, oh well, arrest us. But as Miss Beatty said, she said, be assured that this is just the beginning. This is our power, our message. And so you can expect to see her protesting along with these other women. And I mean, she had women her age, she had women down to teenagers, you know, following her. And I'm sure the movement is only going to get larger and larger. Voting rights is a critical issue, because it seems like if they don't get what they want, all they're going to do is dismantle the voting system to the point where no matter whether we vote or not, it wouldn't matter. So we've got to take this seriously. We've got to, you know, stand behind the people who are fighting for this right to vote. And so she was supposed to go and meet with Kamala Harris at the end of last week. I haven't seen the results of that yet, though. But you know,
good job, Gina. Great topic. That piggybacks before the panel go. I'll say my thing. We're so naive. I'm gonna tell you once again. I'm a regular guy. I own up to my shortcomings. I became politically active with Obama. Stood in line over 2.5 hours waiting to make sure to vote for the black president. Before that, I really didn't care. I didn't think that it actually mattered as much. I mean, back in the day, Gina knows that we knew the Conways. They were regular people. Troy Bailey went to our church. We knew people. You know what I mean? So, we were into it then, but we didn't think that one person, one vote mattered at all. We found out now that, man, if you if you ain't got your foot on somebody's neck now, in politics the way they doing us, you about to get lost. I mean, when you sit back and think about, they're saying, I didn't know the actual impact on electoral votes. I just thought it was how many people vote. No matter if we got more of them, but more of us voting than them, we win. There's a lot more to it than that, because Donald Trump did not win the popular vote. Don't get it twisted. He won the electoral votes. So I found out in the hard way that even if everybody goes off and votes, you know what I mean, for a person, electoral votes are important. So, like I'm saying, I don't know much about electoral votes and all. I found out the hard way about that from people that work. Persons from African descent. We work in the medical field, mental health field, and we work now with a lot of Africans. A lot of Africans in the jails, a lot of Africans in the hospitals and stuff like that. And let me tell you something. That CC, don't it? Man, politics is everything to them cats, man.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, Gina is everything to them, because they know about dictators. They know about, their cousin being drugged down the street. They seen wars out front. Well, America, you ain't never seen nobody run down the street with no rifle and tell themselves we at war. We go over there and fight. Win, lose, or draw. We go over there and fight. We don't fight on our soil. But it's people that fight right there on their soil. So they're serious about politics and who's in charge and all that. And they were just saying to me, and I didn't mean anything to them, but I guess I'm a little more ashamed of it now. He said, Madu at work. That's what he said. And Teray. Now y'all don't know nothing about politics. You don't care because it don't matter to you. It doesn't affect you. So you just go up with your eyes blind and go through the day, and everybody does everything for you. It's simple as that. Now, Gina just now finished giving us something, and she told us these people got a game plan to affect voting. They proud of Gina. Their game plan may be 10 years from now, huh? They putting in 10 years of work how to suppress your vote. What'd you say at the spelling bee, Gina? They made it so that it was on the 10th floor with no elevators that black people could get in. I mean, these snakes is doing a lot of stuff, and we better, just like we're saying, we better learn some defense now. Doc,
yeah,
please.
You're right.
You just better learn something now, CC.
I couldn't have said it better myself, because the issue is that these new voter suppression laws, is what I'll call them, are designed to disproportionately affect Black and brown people, because we are the people who have until late not really cared one way or another. You know what I'm saying? So they depend on us continuing with that same pattern of behavior, not really caring, not paying attention. But in light of all the injustices that have been happening to us, we are now, for lack of better terms, woke, and we're paying attention. We know that these things are designed so that our voices won't be heard,
Right.
And when you know better, you have to do better. So now that we know, we have to put that knowledge into action.
And you know what? And even with that, you got to also understand that without knowing your history can repeat itself. They used to have it where the qualifications for you to actually vote you would have to be a white male landowner in good standing with your taxes. And so that cut a good portion of people out altogether. And so when you are disenfranchised from as far as doing your voting act, meaning like, oh, this ain't gonna affect me, I ain't got nothing to do with that, man. That politics stuff don't have nothing to do with me. It don't matter who gonna get in, it's gonna happen as well. Let me share something with you. When they did that war on drugs, that affected black people. Right. Yeah. That didn't affect the people that was selling drugs that was on Wall Street. That didn't affect those millionaires that was getting those planes to drop, bring the drugs here, and those boats to bring it here and catch, you know what I'm saying, those big kingpins. It was getting them young boys right on the corner was the war on drugs who was still living in the projects. And so, we have to understand that we have to be able to see things as they're coming. Like that 3 strikes law, that affected a lot of families. Yes. A lot of people in jail right now because they had one last felony, that 3rd felony that pretty much had them in jail for life. And so we have to see this stuff coming and know that, you know what? Yeah, you may feel that your vote don't matter, but when you looked at some of these races and some people won by only 500 votes and some people only won by 1,000 votes, you know what I'm saying? Meaning that it's saying that if you had not stayed home and then your homeboy ain't stay home because it ain't make a difference, y'all could have made a difference.
Exactly. Absolutely. And one thing that we have to learn as a people is that we have to really stop sitting back waiting for people to do things for us. We have to be the change that we want to see. If we want things to change, then we have to get out here and do our part to change it. We always sitting back waiting for the new president, the legislator, this, that, and the third. These politicians have been having their way and doing what they want since the beginning of time, because we always say, oh, well, no matter what I say, it's going to go the way it's going to go anyway. You know what I'm saying? Try, do something different. If you want to see something different, you can't keep doing the same thing and expect the different results. That's the definition of insanity.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah. Good topic, Gina. Good topic. The way to get us started, the way to get us woke. I look at our engineer. We're going to be moving along to CC with our next topic. We're looking at our engineer panel. If y'all looking or out there in podcast land, you see we red today. You see everything's lit up red today. I said, baby, that green was looking good. She told me from the Richard Pryor line, the West, I wouldn't be seen in green. You know what I mean? I said, boy, that blue look good. She said, I don't know about you, but I don't like blue. She said today I wouldn't be caught dead if I didn't post everything in red. Our engineer goes out to try to put our little things together. Shout out to Miss Annals, who told us about putting the names of the persons and the topics out there, Yvette. That's your work. Thank you very much for participating. And I want everybody to know your input is heard around here. We use it and we listen. We use it and we listen. So
and even if you have something that you'd like to hear us discuss, reach out and let us know. We'll do it.
Yeah, that's what. And guess what? Me and Doc don't need no time to speak on the topic. All you gotta do is put it up there. We have a burning desire. Put some topics up there. We'll talk about anything because we don't have no papers. The day was the first time I ever had a paper. I've been bending over the whole time trying to read. I can't see it. That's why I don't never have no papers, Doc. It ain't for me. But anyway, moving right along, y'all. Let's keep it going, everybody. Thank you for the positive energy. Everybody that's chiming in. Our viewing audience is getting great now. I don't know if y'all noticed you looking at comments and stuff over there. We hitting heads now. We in there. People, man, thank you. This means everything to us, and I'm glad that y'all are chiming in and I'm just enjoying it. I'm enjoying it. You know what I mean? Allen Iverson said it best. You know what I mean? I got the best job in the world. They pay me to play basketball. You hear that, guy? L9, when they said somebody L9 said I got the best job in the world, they pay me to play basketball. Now, what's a better job than that? Right. They pay me to play basketball. Right. Up here, I get to get up every day and talk. That's what I do. God gave me the gift of the gab, and I got it. You know what I mean? This is talking. This is my thing. I get to enjoy myself. You can say what you want about us as a panel, but I watch my wife. She loves playing with the colors and being the engineer. Doc is an educated person. Education means everything to him. So for him to have a platform to go put it out there, Doc loves it. Gina Lee is real easy. Everything is on her face. Look at her. She smiles all the time when she gives you information and history. Gina Lee is a historian buff. Don't CC, when we start talking to her about something, sometimes, you know what I mean, we have to wait for her to stop. Because when she starts sharing something about history, she goes on. We don't want to interrupt her. You know what I mean? Because we get that feeling in us that we feel good hearing it. Real talk.
And we all learn a lot along the way.
Yeah. As we say, real talk, you know what I mean? Anything in life you'll be good at. Anything that you're good at, you'll like. You'll like. With these podcasts, y'all, we like doing them because this is what we do. All right, y'all, moving right along. Now we'll go to CC. CC's topic. She's our current event person. I don't know if anybody will still be friends when CC finished talking. Because CC, I love her, but she talks about things that's going on. And when you get, by the time she finished, she be, I mean, oh, they did what? Let's, hey, what Jesse Jackson say? Let's march. They did what, CC? Let's march. All right, CC. You for Simply Us, you're reporting. What's your topic today?
Okay, I am CC Tapes reporting for Simply Us. And my topic today is the Gun Trace Task Force. You know, sometimes I got hit a little closer to home with these things. And I was watching the news and learned that the Gun Trace Task Force, which we all know, you know, those of us who are in Baltimore, we're familiar with. In 2017, 8 members of the Gun Trace Task Force were indicted and arrested on charges of racketeering, extortion, overtime fraud, and selling drugs seized during police operations. Now, this was a task force that was a special task force in Baltimore City that was put together to get the guns off the street. And their way of getting the guns off the street was planting them on innocent people. And they said that they admitted that they planted these guns on people that they didn't think would turn them in or report them. You know, the Board of Estimates recently approved a $525,000 settlement to a victim who was framed by the task force. His name was Robert Johnson. He did 4 years in prison. And officers Jamel Ram and Mondu Gondo, I hope I got their names right because y'all know I like to call out the cowards, planted a gun and searched his vehicle without probable cause. And then he was pressured into taking a plea deal. Thus far, the city has settled 30 cases, the largest being $8 million paid to Umar Burley and Brent Matthews, I believe his name is, and counting. A. Dwight Pettit was on the news saying that he has about 15 or 20 more cases that are pending. They have paid out I think they said it was 14 million so far and counting, you know, and this is just another, you know, I hate to seem like I'm always being hard on the police, you know, because we love our police. Just the other day, we had a pop-up cookout. Our neighbors call the police on us every time for playing the music in the yard. And the police came up and the officer was very nice and told me to carry on and have a good time. I offered them a burger, you know. He said he's always hungry, but he's not going to intrude on our celebration. You know, so it's not all every time you come into contact with an officer that it's a bad thing, you know. But these types of incidents are just a black eye on our city, a black eye on law enforcement, and they still have 2 officers that have their case is still pending. So it's just I don't know. And then my big issue is this money to pay these settlements is coming at the expense of taxpayers.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? This money has to come from somewhere. It's not popping up out the clear blue sky. And as much and as badly as Baltimore City needs funds for education, you name it, the city is so run down. There are so many things that are going on in the city until that money could be put to good use. But instead, they have to take this money and pay these cowards who took an oath and disrespected the badge. We have to now pay for their sins, pay for their wrongdoing, when we have classrooms where they don't even have enough books. Children have to share a book. You know what I'm saying? They read out of textbooks that were in circulation when all of us were in school. You know what I'm saying? So this is disturbing, and it's just like I said, another black eye on our city and another black eye on law enforcement. And they have some other officers that have charges pending for covering up the actions of the Gun Trace Task Force. I mean, this is just an ongoing situation. And for those officers who participated, shame on you. You know what I'm saying? For disrespecting the badge, for disrespecting the citizens, for disrespecting the oath that you took, and for making all of us taxpaying, law-abiding citizens pay for your corruption. Shame on you.
Good point, CC. Hey, listen, let me tell you something. Nettie, you so right. Good morning, Brian. I know your opinions get ready to come across there, but Dr. Ted and Balik that I grew up with is Tony. Let me tell you something. Y'all asked. Their job was to get the guns off the street. They got them off the street. Didn't they, Ted? Didn't they, Tony? They put them in our pockets, put them in our cars, put them in our trunks.
Right.
Took all them guns and planted them guns on us, man. At least when we came along back in the day, the police gave you a beating.
Right.
You know what I mean? Hey, you got to catch me. I did something, broke the law, whip my ass, do what I'm doing. But they ain't do that kind of stuff to you. They took your weed. They knew you were selling weed. They took your weed. They watched you for 20 minutes, run up underneath the car. We get your package. They go over there and take your package. They say it ain't yours. You want to go? What they say? Denzel Washington saying Training Day. You want to go to jail? You want to go home? I want to go home. You can take all this money. You can take all this kind of stuff, but they ain't give you no charges.
Right.
Y'all remember High Top back in the day? He would tell you, "Don't run. Don't make me chase you." I ran. I'm a runner anyhow. I'm a runner. I look at them chumps, man, how they say, man, he already know who I am. Well, I don't give a damn if he know who I am. I'm going to jail next Friday, but I ain't going to jail right now. I want y'all to know Party's going to run. Tony, I know Tony. Tony going to run. You know what I mean? We running. Yeah, but that's like when somebody get ready to bank you, Dad. You know how they say, don't run, chump. You wasting your breath talking to me. I'm running because I know I can come back. I know I can come back. Ain't no doubt in my mind. Can I come back and am I coming back? I'm going to come back. But I want to think back to CC Doc or anybody in the audience and our viewers know just how long ago the gun task must have started. I mean, it's still in the news. They still paying out money from it. How long has this been in effect? They still paying out money for what them snakes did? Has it been like 10 years? How long has it been?
They were arrested in 2017.
But when was the first time they started the gun task? This thing been around a long time.
I was about to say, I'm not even sure what the date is. And if anybody knows, they can chime in when this task force was actually assembled. But just the mere fact that 30 settlements have already been paid with at least 20 more pending lets you know that this was a significant act of corruption.
Plus, they got hundreds of cases that they had to throw out.
Yeah,
because of that. I mean hundreds. Like almost like 300-400 cases. That's just they just letting them out.
Yeah, and
but
which probably goes back to what I was saying last week about how some of these violent offenders are winding up back on the streets.
Like
Excuse me, Doc, before you jump in there, Brian Samuels, you know, he's an avid listener. He says around 2008 is when the gun task force started. 2008. That's like 13 years ago. These skunks is still getting money taken out of our pockets as taxpayers 13 years later for what they did, Doc. It's just some of this is just crazy. Go ahead, Doc.
You know what? I gotta share with you, and they share how they was even getting some of these other guns that they were planting on people. And so I know at least 3 of my guys called me at times. They were in handcuffs, being questioned by the police, and they found a little bit of weed on them, but they already had a record, and they were saying, "I'm gonna lock you up, or you have somebody to go bring me a gun now, and I'll let you go." You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I done had 3 of my guys. You know them. Some of the crew.
Yeah.
They have called me in cuffs, saying that the guy's saying that he'll let me go. Just give me any kind of gun, any kind. It don't matter. Throwaway, a raggedy one, a rifle, anything. And that was some of what they were doing. And I even had one guy that really thinks they should be charged with murder, because what they were doing is at times they would get your license, go to your house and ransack your house. And some of them, they were taking work from them. So when I say work, they was taking, you know, them drugs that they had to sell for people.
And reselling it.
So people wasn't getting locked up for the drugs, but they were taking the drugs. And so the person now you owe, like, well, hold on, why you don't have no paperwork if police took the drugs from you? And so people died. Some people got killed. I mean, I got a guy that was saying that he would like to go on the news. He just wouldn't even want to have his face shown. He said, but I think the story should be told of how they would drive around with people up front, in front of the corner, and try to act like he a snitch. And then, you know, to try to get them to turn, go to their house, take the money and the drugs, but don't lock them up. Or if they lock them up for something small. You know what I'm saying? But they do not account for all of the money, and they do not count for some of the drugs. And so, you know, really that's something that should be addressed as far as with that. They should be charged with murder, or at least an accessory to murder.
Yeah.
You know, y'all, good point, CC. As you know, CC's our current event person. She always gets us started and excited. You know what I mean? Gina Lee gave us our format on exactly where we are. I talked to you earlier about making sure that you pay homage to the pioneers who did a lot of work before you. You know, we call ourselves Simply Us. We just talk on some topics. We're not a black show. We're not a white show. We're just an informative show. I'm just pleased with the outpouring of persons that are chiming in, that are commenting, and it's cool. You know what I mean? Just Tony and I, Balik is a street person. I know him from the streets, ripping and running. Here he is, you know, chiming in. Brian, I knew him when he was a kid. Nettie is, you know, part of my family. Just everybody that's getting over there, getting something. A lot of people just chime in just so they can say, hey, thanks, Doc. You know what I mean? Gina, I know you. CC, I want to support you. A Party Marty, as y'all having the show, man, let me get in there just so I can support you. And you're in here for the long haul. You're in here for the long haul because we got something nice that we giving up. We got some information, Jack. We got an A-team here. We got some heavy hitters, and everybody's talking about some good stuff. So anybody that's getting in there, that's listening to stuff like that, please stay ever vigilant. We're on every Tuesday. Next week, we're on from Tuesday from 9 a.m. to 11. We'll be on Wednesday. Doc show is 6:30 to 7:30. Thursday, we're back on with Let's Talk from 9 a.m. From Simply Us from 9:30 to 11. And then Friday, Gina Lee. Gina Lee, what's your time again?
9:30 to 10.
9:30 to 10. Gina Lee will be on location. If you're listening tomorrow, this is Gina Lee's first podcast. Hands up, hands up, hands up. This is Gina Lee's first podcast tomorrow. Tomorrow, please join in, chime in at 9:30, and she will be visiting on location. Where you going on location at, Gina?
Our alma mater, James Mosier Elementary School, number 144.
James Mosier Elementary School, number 144. If you're out there, Sheila, you ain't doing nothing, ride by there at 9:30. Gina Lee will be reporting live from 144. What's that? What's the new name, Gina?
The Billie Holiday Elementary School, number 144.
Yeah, Billie Holiday. Yeah. Hey, wait a minute. Watch this loaded question. How many Billie Holiday schools are there, Gina, in the country?
Just one. And it's in Baltimore, Maryland.
Hands up, hands up. Us. Just one, y'all. Us. So James Mosier literally. Go ahead, Gina. Yeah. The first Billie Holiday school is right there in West Baltimore. James Mosier, anybody stop over there, get a little interview from Gina so you can talk a little bit about the field. Sheila, anybody that's over there from James Mosier, like we're saying, we will be a live podcast from 9:30. Gina Lee it's called Gina Lee on vacation on location. Will be at James Mosier, now formerly known as James Mosier, now known as the Billie Holiday Elementary School, and it's also next to James Mosier. James Mosier, please be there so you can talk a little bit about what y'all do. Gina Lee live location tomorrow 9:30 a.m. Hey, yeah, look at that engineer. Look at that engineer. Hey, Jack, as Doc Ted said, this part of my team. This 3 out of my 7, Doc. So when you tell a story about Party Marty, tell that. That's 3 out of my team right there. Hey, y'all, moving right along, man. Let's keep it going. Where we at? Live, how long we been? Hour. Okay, now, here's where we get to give you our knowledgeable person. Bunny, yeah, congratulations, Rosanna, Dana, Anna. Right now, what we're going to do, we're going to bow out to Dr. Sutton. His name is Dr. Ted Sutton. If you hear me call him Dr. Taylor 20 times, don't pay no attention to it. I worked at a great Taylor Manor, and I was calling Dr. Taylor for 20 years. So every time I say doctor, and here was my shortcoming, you want to know who that Dr. Taylor was? As usual, Caucasian guy that I had to know was Dr. Taylor, and that's what we thought every doctor was. Had on a suit, had a stethoscope, and was a doctor. If y'all don't know out there in podcast land, a doctor is anybody with a PhD. So to you young black people, you old black people, you middle-aged black people, you intelligent black people, you ignorant black people, I want you to see, without further ado, what a doctor looks like. What a doctor looks like. When Dr. Sutton is over our house, CC tell him he got on sweatsuits, he got on tennis. His family, he comes all, he's my family. So when he comes to the event, his family there, and you would never know they was educated and chefs and doctors and stuff like that. They eating chicken and laughing and joking and loud as everybody. It don't have to mean that you got to be all uppity and look different and crazy and stuff to be educated. You feel me? So without further ado, I give y'all a Dr. Ted Sutton. What's your topic today?
Well, it's funny you say that, because with all the stuff going on with Fauci and Rand Paul getting into it, and about some of the stuff with the vaccine and with how more of the unvaccinated people, have been actually the surge that's been going up with the even with the Delta variant, with a lot of stuff that's going on. You got the floods that's been happening, and even in China and different things of that nature. You know what? I saw something that really, I was a little concerned about, and I saw that a lot of our sisters were very, very dismayed with some photos that came up, and it was a black man that he was getting married to a white woman, but that wasn't the issue. the issue of his pictures was he dressed as a slave, and she dressed, you know, as a person who, let's say, would have been the slave master, and then they put chains on them and they took pictures, you know, and everything. And some of the comments that I happened to see with that showed a level of you know, some people were very disappointed that he actually, you know, went out like that. And I don't know if any of y'all saw, you know, some of this, you know what I'm saying, but it was something that, you know, it just saw, you know what I mean, where the some of the sisters, and not just the sisters, they were very upset and dismayed with this man's choice to take wedding pictures dressed as a slave, and you know, in the whole nine. So it was really, you know, something. And but I wanted to find out, you know, more, you know, kind of like about, you know, what was some of that. And it's really something, because when you talk about me putting the fist up, and, you know, and putting the fist up, and you said it really correctly, you know what I'm saying? This is, to me, all power to the people. This is that we have to stand against injustice, you know. And for me, when I say that I'm pro-black, that doesn't mean I'm anti-white.
Good one.
And people have to understand, you know, what that I should be able to say I'm black and I'm proud, and not have anybody look at me, you know what I'm saying, you know, crazy, or look at me in any kind of way, you know what I'm saying, because I feel that that's one of our issues. We have to be able to say we're black because it's true, and we should be able to say, and we're proud. And, you know, because I think our children have to really get, you know, saying that also ingrained in them. And the more that I'm seeing now that we have places that are trying to change history and how it's taught, I think that we have to bring a more level of teaching back in the home the way it once was, so that we could not depend on the school system to pretty much teach us to be proud to be black. You know, I mean, I feel it's unfortunate when I see so many people on social media that's, you know, like somebody saying, well, they black, but then they're saying, but I will not date somebody black. That, when you hear that, that's self-hate. You haven't even given a person a chance to talk to him, but you, because of this color of his skin, and seeing we can actually have self-hate against each other because we've been taught that. You know, we've been taught that. I mean, they used to have it. They used to do something that was called the brown paper bag test, where to get into a certain sorority, you had to be lighter
than a brown paper bag. That's
so
right.
if really you were darker. So if you were darker than the brown paper bag, they would not allow you to be in the sorority, and you could not pledge certain sororities. You know, and I think that, so that type of self, you know, hate, you know, really has made, you know, we have to really focus on trying to get the message out inside of our homes first. And, you know, and then it has to be supported by the village as they go around to different places. So, you know, and that's just how that is. I mean, and it's okay to make a mistake sometimes. You don't know any better, but we have to reinforce that. See, one thing that I said falling down is an accident, but staying down is a choice. And we have to actually change that narrative. We have to make the choice that I'm going to get up today. We have to make the choice that I'm going to treat everybody right, but I'm going to also go with my head high, no matter how dark my skin is. I want my head held high. I want my children to know that, yes, I am dark as can be, and I'm going to stay out in the sun and get darker. And you know what? And that does not take away anything from my character and my integrity.
Wow. Hands up, hands up, hands up, hands up, hands up. You know, James Brown started us with it. Say it loud. Dun, dun, I'm black and I'm proud. Dun, 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 say it loud. Dun, dun, I'm black and I'm proud. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, listen, a lot of good points. And you know what? It's amazing when people start in a panel or in life when people start talking on topics that I didn't know anything about and everybody else knows. Did you see Gina jumping there? The brown paper bag. What in the world is a brown paper bag? She had literally must have. You've heard that before, Gina, huh?
Oh, absolutely.
Wow. Never even heard of nothing like that.
If you, even though the AKAs were considered one of the first African American sororities, they had a history of colorism.
Yes.
They had a history of it. That was one of the reasons that even though my mother was an AKA, and I'm sure she thought that I would be an AKA, but I just could not do it. I couldn't do it because I really, after being around the women that I saw, I could feel a feeling of looking down at your own race. I could feel it. So, things have changed over the years.
Yes.
Because the young people that in order to keep the numbers up, they had to invite, a certain quota of women. So, but things have changed over the years. But yeah, they had an issue with that in the past.
Wow. So you mean to tell me
they were the only one? I'm not going to say they were the only. There were others.
Yes, it was.
So, yeah. I've heard many times.
Prejudice of us amongst us.
Amongst us.
Amongst us. Prejudice in our own race about our own color.
Yes.
Well, like I was going to say a few minutes ago, that's like Tupac said, about how people perceive us as a culture, that we're all thugs and got guns and dealing drugs and this and that and the other. A lot of that is, like the doc said, when these guys come out of jail, they living right next to us. They living next to us. So when, it's not like we can get away from them,
Right.
Right.
We've got to protect ourselves and educate ourselves in order for all of us to rise. It's the fact that, our community don't change because y'all locking, 50-60% of us up. It's not going to change. We still got the women out here, and that's because the system keeps feeding the element with guns and drugs. And so we didn't bring that in here.
Right.
We don't have boats to bring these things from Colombia. We don't have the stockpile of money to be buying hundreds and hundreds of AK-47s or 15s or whatever they call them. We're what? That's not us. That's the government.
We don't have any people don't know we don't have any planes.
No,
they start talking about how the Kennedys are rich as can be, but that's because they had ships. They had boats back in Coalition. They could bring the liquor over here. How do you think the speakeasies got their liquor and stuff like that? The Kennedys had boats. So when we had Coalition going, Pro-Coalition going, all they did was loaded up boats and rode them back over there and dropped it off to the speakeasy. You'd be surprised who got their money and how they got it. CC, comment?
Yeah, I just agree with Gina. Is nothing much more to be said on that. And the doctor is that, we have to really do better as a community. We have to learn we have to teach our children from a young age. And I know people may say I'm always harping on what we need to teach our children, but it's so important. It's so important because this is our future. These young people are our future. One day, I may not be here. Dr. Ted may not be here. Gina may not be here. Party Marty may not be here to say these things. But we have to train this younger generation to love themselves. You know what I'm saying? Self-hate is a learned behavior, just like being prejudiced is. And we have to change the narrative, and that's where it starts. That's where it starts.
You know what? It's funny you say that, because one thing that I tell my daughter when I drop her off, I tell her, I said, the bad news is you don't fit in. And I was like, the good news is you wasn't supposed to. And one of the things I say, you got to understand that it is my job to teach you for life without me.
Yeah, absolutely.
That is my main job. I'm not worrying about nothing that happens around when you are with me. Daddy gonna take care of that. But what I need you to do is make good decisions when I'm not around. Meaning your first weapon is not that gun, that knife, those brass knuckles. That your first weapon.
Hands up. Yeah.
That's what I was saying. That's what I was saying the other day. My hat's off to all of y'all, because y'all are parents and y'all have done an excellent job of teaching your children to be, 1, self-sufficient, 2, educated, and 3, think of other people before you make a step. Think of how it will impact your life before you make a step, before you make a decision. And y'all have taught your children that. And I really, like I say, my hat's off to all of y'all for that.
Thank you.
I appreciate that. My buddy Tony Balik is his Muslim name. He comes up with me. He knows that Ted, street person, and Alan, we're pretty much street people. Mike, Big Mike, Raven fan. I look at my wife, how she's plunged into my life and my lifestyle, unbeknownst to her. You know what I mean? It's funny. Every window in my house has a stick in it. From back in the day, you got the sliding windows. Yeah. What do we do with the sliding patio doors? You put a stick in it.
Yeah.
So even if it break it, somebody break the window, they step through the window. You always put that stick in there. So sticks is everywhere. I look at my house. You know what I mean? My wife laughs. We go to bed every night. It's hot as hell in my bedroom. My wife always complains. Because from the moment we go in the bedroom, what do we have to do, CC?
Close and lock the bedroom door. It's mandatory.
I close and lock my door. Because you ever watch Law and Order, all the people always sneak through. Ain't no windows open in my house while we sleep because it's hot. Ain't none of that. I know bad things happen to good people. I lock my door in that bedroom to give me time, Ted, to get to that gun. Right. All I need to do is hear that knob jingling, make a little move. Every time you look at these stories, before you know it, they stand over top of them and raping them and doing all this kind. How you let them get in there? How you let them get in there? All I gotta do is get my hands on that gun. You ain't got to worry about nothing when you in Party Marty's house or in Party Marty's, like what you said, Ted. I ain't worried about nobody doing nothing to you while I'm here.
Right.
I'm worried about what I'm not. If you look outside my house now, the guy across the street count, I just bought 10 more lights for my lawn. He looked at me and said, Party, what you doing with all them lights? I said, I work 11 to 7 and I ain't home to protect my wife and my dog. I'm gone at night. You know what I mean? I want my house lit up. When you get anywhere near my house, y'all know it look like a crime scene. Everybody come on. Bing, 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 bing. The door, what's that? What kind of bell we got, baby?
The Ring doorbell.
The Ring doorbell starts showing your picture chime. Somebody outside. People be riding by in the car, thing light up. I got it on sensitive. That's just how I am, because I know
even the dog knows.
Even the dog knows. You know, we just don't know, y'all. We sometimes don't get it. You know, that's from incarceration. When I talk back about, voting and stuff like that, a lot of times I didn't vote. I couldn't vote. I was a criminal. And it's hard to get a ballot box when you're in jail.
Right.
So some of these things, you know what I mean, we've created, and we stay in the Stone Age about it. I was asking my wife, Cece, I said, when we was talking about voting, I'm going to tell you how ignorant I am. And once again, I'm the regular guy. My government name is Maurice Tates. My name out there is West Baltimore, dope fiend, jailbird thug. West Baltimore Party Marty, dope fiend, jailbird thug, who's become who you see in front of you now. So don't tell me God don't allow U-turns. Thank you, Ted. But don't tell me God don't allow U-turns. I became what I am now. But some of those habits and stuff don't change. Simple as that. Downstairs, I have a man cave, y'all. But for those of y'all that been to my house, but when you downstairs, you don't know what's going on upstairs. You figure like you can't protect yourself. So what do we do, Ted? What do we do, Tony? We put a gun in all three facets of the house. It's a gun in the bedroom to protect my family at night when I'm asleep. It's a gun upstairs just so I can move around in case you get near that door. And when I'm in the basement, don't think because you caught me downstairs in the jacuzzi, you caught me out of position or with my pants down, because you didn't, because the gun down here too. Real talk.
You know what?
But now the only difference is, Ted, guess what? Now I have 3 legal guns.
Right.
Hands up, hands up, hands up, hands up, hands up. I got a permit to walk around now with a gun.
Right,
now, the same Party Boy. Somebody said to me, hey, yeah, Party Boy, I see now you be having that. I do armed security too. And shout out to Nolan Ross and his security company, Michael Singletary and his security company. I do armed security, and they say, Pa, I see you with that gun. You know what I mean? That's something, you know what I mean? Check us out. I always had a gun. It may be under the sofa. It may be under the seat. It may be taped to the battery. It may be strapped to my leg, maybe next to my nuts. But I always had a gun. But now, because of the wreckage of my past and how I done turned it around, now I got a legal gun. I'm that same person, and sometimes it's the same gun. But this is where I am now. Brian put up there, you know what I mean? Brian, that's a good thing you put. They run around with the saggy pants. That's true. Ted and I know, and Tony Bleach know, you used to wear your pants down because you was in jail. You was available.
Right.
So all y'all that's running around thinking it's hip and cool because your pants is down, you know where it came from when we was locked up? That means you were available.
Mm-hmm.
Flash, lights, dim, DICs.
Right.
That's what it meant. When you wore your pants low, that means you like them DICs. Mm-hmm. That's what it was, man. Y'all wear it like a badge of honor. Comment, Ted, on the pants being down.
Yeah, well, one thing is they don't understand that it does show a level of availability. And then, you know, because when you would first come in, one of the things that they would do is take your shoestrings and your belt, because they want to make sure that you don't try to attempt to kill yourself. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, with that being the case, you know, saying, you know, some they started weighing it like that, and then they started taking it too far. They started weighing it even below now their cheeks. They weigh it below, which makes 0 sense. You know what I'm saying? Because to me, I don't even know how you run from the police. How do you run from the police when you let that fat, you know what I'm saying, police officer that's got that big heavy belt on, the vest on, you know, the radio, everything, you know what I'm saying, and you let him catch you because you were running with one hand trying to hold your pants up while you trying to navigate down the street, and you still get caught. So it's a lot of times they understand they put on fads and they deal with fads that they don't know the history of.
And they don't even know that sagging pants thing.
When somebody is in prison and they tell you, I don't want you standing up peeing, they mean they look at you as a female. They don't respect you as a man. If they tell you when I'm walking around, I want you to hold my pocket, I want you to put your hand in my pocket walking around, that's showing that you are my property. And when that pants is hanging down and when you have it below your cheeks, it is saying you are a single man and you are available. And that's the part that so they're taking on fads thinking it's cool, not understanding the entire history of it.
And the sagging pants thing even goes back as far as slavery, because they say that the slave masters, the slaves that wore their pants hanging low, let the other slave masters know that they had already been broken.
Yeah, buck busted.
Mm-hmm.
Buck breaking, that's it.
Yeah.
Gina? I don't even know what to say about this. It really does. I'm not gonna say disgusting, but it really just makes me sad that a man would come out the house looking like that. I mean, I sometimes I see these young men and I'm like, why did you even put pants on? You might as well have just worn your drawers outside. I mean,
right.
Really?
And then they don't be clean. And then a lot of times they don't. How do you got
right? That part.
You got your pants hanging down. You got the stain. Something. I mean, but you know what? The first thing I say is you don't have no friends. Because if you had one friend, they would be like, hey, yo, you need to put on some clean ones. Because really the way it was supposed to be worn is you have your pants hanging down just a little bit, and then you can see the top of the band of your underwear.
Right.
Just the top, just the actual band, just the band. So you can see that they Calvin Klein, or they was, saying,
exactly,
Bantini, or they was something, saying they was some kind of designer underwear. But they've taken it to a point where it's below the cheek.
Right.
And then stain, and then you trying to holler at girls. You trying to holler at a young lady with a stain and your pants below your cheeks.
Lolita Davis.
Son, you don't have somebody that cares about you.
Hey, because Lolita Davis,
the person that cared about you
would tell you,
man, that you got to do a little bit better.
That's what Lolita said.
The other sad part is the women are accepting this.
Oh yeah.
That's the other sad part about it. At one time it would be like, oh no, you're not gonna come up in my face looking like that, But now these girls are like, they just accept it.
But that's because
I had to tell some guys that they was with me, and the guy started yelling out the window, "Hey, shorty, come in, B, come in, B, come in." I was like, "Yo, check that, man. You don't blow up the spot like that. Don't blow up my car." Doing nothing like that. But he got out the car. I said, well, all right, well, this is the thing. If you get a phone number, then you can get back in the car. If you're not, you got to walk since you're doing all that. He got out the car and was like, B, come here. And I'm like, oh, my God. She came over, was down and everything. And she was like, oh, I mess with him. He's so ratchet. He ratchet. And I was just like, man, am I in the Twilight Zone? You are yelling. You are saying D, she got a big fat A, and all this and that. And you're talking to her and you still walked away with the phone number.
And that's why that's why I think that fathers like Dr. Sutton and my husband, I call them the best girl dads in the world. It's up to the fathers to teach their daughters their self-worth. You know what I'm saying? Right. If you have a father that take your daughters out on dates. Send them some flowers. You know what I'm saying? Do all of those things so that they won't lower their standards for one of these for young men. Right. I'm just gonna call them young men. Yeah. But their standards will not be so low. But you have to teach your daughter her self-worth. Right. Teach her that your parents didn't name you Hey B. You know what I'm saying? Right, You'll respond to that. Teach them that when a gentleman come to pick you up for a date, he knock on the door. You don't stand out there and blow the horn. You know what I'm saying? But we got to teach these things. We have to teach them.
Hey, Lolita, thanks for chiming in. Lolita said, you know what I mean? And like everybody's saying, and then their drawers be dirty. They don't even look at it. Remember, their drawers be dirty. Andre, not to tell his business, but this is what the program is for. Dre, friend, shout out Norman Pulaski and stuff. He done gave the system some years of his life, a lot of years of his life. And he said, when you sagging, you fagging. Don't go off and tell me about stuff. I know people that's been there. You know what I mean? I've been there, Doc. I ain't telling y'all about nothing I don't know. I know somebody's been there. When Dre started talking and stuff like that about the penal institution, listen, because he went through there. He said, when you sagging, you fagging. A lot of people run over there and try to figure out exactly what they're doing and what's the new hip and cool thing. Everything that's hip and cool ain't hip and cool. Right. Some of this stuff ain't hip and cool. As simple as that. Hey, y'all.
We got the last 10 minutes. Anybody got another topic they want to talk about? We got 10 minutes. All right. I'll go then. I'll go then. Here's a good topic right here. A good topic is where you at now. Where you at now? I want everybody within the earshot of me to figure out where you at now. You know what I mean? If you start off selling weed 20 years ago and you still selling weed, you ain't progressed. If you ain't moved up to cocaine and dope, you ain't progressed. If you run around now, I'm not gonna knock anybody in their mom's house. Sometimes people are helping out and all that kind of stuff. But if you was in mom's house 30 years ago and you still at mom's house, but yet you got a Mercedes Benz and a Rolex watch, you ain't progressed. Where you at now? Mm-hmm. Where you at now? That's all I'm talking about. What decisions are you making to better yourself? How are you doing things a little better now? How are you doing things a little better now? You got to start, people out there in the earshot of me, you have to start progressing. It's never too late to say, boy, I did this wrong. I did this wrong. I apologize.
Right.
You know what I mean? I did something wrong, boy. I apologize. I got to start doing something differently now. I got to start doing something differently. Don't let Dr. Ted's son, Jeremiah, who's 14 years old, pass you in life. Don't let him know that a blessing is feeding people over the new PlayStations in Jordan and you don't get it. A lot of people come back home later in life and all of a sudden they still figure they're doing the same thing. Hey, y'all, it's different. I never forget, Lolita, that's right. I never forget when you know what I mostly remember when I came home from training school? On Bentlow Street, when I went in, it was trees all the way up there. We had the what's it called? When you used to have to come in, your mother would tell you what time to come in, right, Gene? When the lights came on.
When the street lights.
The street lights came on.
Yeah.
Street lights. My mother said I was late coming and said, I left my watch. I left my watch on purpose because I was hanging on Riggs Avenue. She said, don't worry about it. When them lights come on, you should be home. That ended your watch. Now you ain't even need a watch no more. Street lights come on, you should be coming home. Well, I remember that it was a bunch of trees on Bentlow Street. Y'all may not know it. I remember North Avenue had a medium street, a medium strip always in the middle of it.
Yeah, and trees, and trees
all the way up, all straight down. But people don't know that about North Avenue, famous for them white pearly steps, them marble steps forever. Yes. Saturday morning, anybody and everybody was out there doing them steps.
Mom. You better be out there with that Ajax and that bucket of water and scrub brush.
Yeah, you Afro clean block. Remember that?
Yeah.
Everybody had that tire that they cut and put a flower pot in them. Cut that tire. You hear what you want about Park Heights? When we came along, one of the most prominent areas in town was Park Heights. Mm-hmm. Y'all came over there and made yourself thugs and all that kind of stuff now. But you used to have money to live on Park Heights.
That's right.
Yeah, you had to have money to live on Park Heights. So, Gina Lee's taught us something about being rich in history. Druid Hill Park is rich in history. Park Heights is rich in history. You know what I mean? These things are rich in history. If you haven't progressed, y'all do what you can to do a little better. All right, y'all. Another awesome show. Let's hands up. Hands up to the panel. Hands up. Another awesome show. Okay, y'all. Y'all know what we do now. We take that. We take it home. Doc, closing thoughts.
You know what? Just to say, I've talked about earlier. We have to do the most that we can. We can't rely on the school to teach what we can teach. And actually, in some of the children, they may have to be just friends with your children. They may have to just be somebody associated with somebody else that is wanting to say, I'm going to give you a word of encouragement. You don't have to teach in a whole class all day, but we can encourage our youth that there's life beyond mistakes and that you can make it.
Yeah, Don. Yeah. Gina Lee, closing thoughts.
I'm just going to piggyback off of that. I agree. I mean, our whole show today has kind of been on how we make our next generation as well as ourselves rise. I just feel like, we all need to challenge ourselves, like you say, Marty, is be somebody important, be yourself, to help somebody else along the way. Back in the day, like Doc brought up, you had the OGs that kind of guided the young men or whatever, and said, yeah, this is the way. But now you don't have that. You don't have the old people to converse with and tell you about your history and tell you about how things used to be and how you can make it better, So, yep, that's all I gotta say is just challenge yourself today to just do something different.
Each one teach one. CC, closing thoughts.
Just that we have to do a better job of making an investment in our youth. You know what I'm saying? We were all young and foolish at some time. And somewhere along the way, somebody made a difference in our lives to make us the people that we are today. And I think that we all need to just make a conscious effort to try to be that person to some of these young people in our lives and in our communities. We have to teach them self-love, and we have to teach them about stepping out on faith and doing something different to get better results. We can't always, just like Doc said, we can't always say, where are the teachers? Where are this person? These things start at home. So if we want our young people to be productive members of society and make a change, then we have to start grooming them and teaching them these things at home for them to take out into the world. So let's just understand and realize that we are their village.
Yes.
Yeah, most definitely. All right, y'all. My closing thought is simple. Like I'm saying, I dedicated this show today to Miss Nene Colson, Myra, whatever you want to call her, from Riggs Avenue in Bentlow for Life at 21216. I want everybody to take time out for one moment now while you sit here to yourself. You know what I mean? I want you to think about this is a small thing. If you happen to be in an area of somebody, you're at work listening or something like that, I need you to play the game with me. Play along with me, please. I need you now to turn to your left. Tell somebody you love them. I need you now to turn to your right and tell somebody you love them.
Love you.
Don't always wait till they're gone to give them their flowers. Don't always wait till the person's locked up to tell them you love them. Don't always wait till it's too late to go off and put your feelings out there. You see water comes to my heart, come out my eyes. That don't mean I'm no chump. That means God's melted my heart. I changed. That means I'm not a robot. I'm a human being. I'm compassionate. When I was at Nene's funerals, Nene's been my friend over 50 years. Sure, I would say it. I would say it for her. She's been on dialysis. You know what I mean? She's very attractive. She led a good, long life. But whenever you talk about Nene, everybody's got something good to say about her. My prayer is that each and every one of y'all get a chance that when you perish and leave from here, that somebody has something good to say about you. Real talk. We always close this thing out with the pandemic. My wife will give you 2 minutes of some research that she just now finished doing on this new, what's the word that we use? What is the new pandemic called?
The Delta variant.
The Delta variant.
The Delta variant. You know what I mean? What was the numbers that we're looking at now, see?
Let's see. 2,000 new cases daily in Tokyo. And I'm bringing up Tokyo because of the Olympics. They have, in the midst of having the Olympics, they've started a state of emergency. So this is really real. And I was also reading that in Louisiana, they had 5,000 new cases overnight. So and in Tokyo, where they're holding these Olympics and putting these athletes' health at risk, only 23% of the population in Tokyo are fully vaccinated. And they have had 15,100 deaths since the beginning of the pandemic, and most of them have been this year. not in 2020, this year. So COVID is real. It's still running rampant, even in Maryland, where there's been an uptick in cases. So wear the mask. You know, I know it's not mandatory to do so anymore, but for me, I'm still masking up, and I hope you guys are too.
Yeah, Michael Singletary had a good comment on there. We'll close out with that. If you want to change your life, sometime like Doc say, change your lifestyle. Mm-hmm. If you want to change your life, like Doc says, change your lifestyle. Great comment, Michael Singletary. Tomorrow, 9:30 at the Great James Mosier Little League Association, at the old James Mosier Elementary, at the new Billie Holiday Elementary. If you would like to go over there to see what we do live, Gina Lee on location will be there at 9:15. She'll be there at 9:15 on. She'll be there for half an hour. Some of you persons show your face, see what we're talking about, laughing and joking. I'll be there because I want to see James Mosier from the new Billie Holiday eyes too. And you also get to see James Mosier. Hey, Little League, Little Mike Singletary, anybody, Todd, any of y'all from James Mosier, if you get a chance, stop over there, meet Gina Lee and have something good to say. One last hands up for an awesome show. One last hands up for an awesome show. Everybody that joined today, thank you so very much for being part of our morning. All right, y'all. Y'all know I leave out with the same thing with my hero rapper, Eminem. It's not a white show. It's not a black show. It's an informative show. I don't care if Eminem was white, black, or green. I'm in the lyrics. I'm not just in the who can rhyme and stay I'm listening to something that means something to me. He has a song that goes plain and simple. It sounds like my life and my lifestyle. Karen Cunningham, thank you, y'all. You got to lose yourself in the music, the moment. You got to never let it go. You only get one shot, y'all. Do not miss your chance, nor should you blow. This thing that's called life, you get one time, yo. Hands up, panel. Hands up. Have a good day. Have a good day. Kenny Davis, take us home with your saying. All right, y'all. Now go out and have a great day on purpose. Have a good day. All right, Gina.
All right.
All right, Doc.
Have
Goodbye.
a great day, everybody.
Have an awesome day in the Lord, and as always, to God be the glory. 9:30 tomorrow, y'all, at James Mosier, Wheeler and Riggs Avenue. Wheeler and Riggs Avenue. See you then. Good night.
No, Wheeler and Mosier.
Wheeler and Mosier. Be at both of them. Split yourself. Be at both of them. All right, Gina. See you in the morning.
All right.
Bye-bye.